The Jeffrey Epstein scandal continues to cast a long, eerie shadow across global headlines, with new revelations and unanswered questions still shaking the public's trust in elite institutions. If you've seen Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich on Netflix, you already know the sinister depth of the story. But beyond the shocking documentary footage lies an even darker, more twisted tale of manipulation, power, and disturbingly close ties, including with former President Donald Trump. A man shrouded in wealth and mystery, Jeffrey Epstein was the kind of man who seemed to appear out of nowhere, wealthy, secretive, and always somehow in the right room with the right people. As early as 2002, a source told New York Magazine that Epstein had a Gatsby-like presence, lavish, enigmatic, and always just out of reach when it came to his true intentions. He owned not one, but 2 private islands. He rubbed shoulders with billionaires, royalty, and celebrities. Yet behind the glittering facade was a horrifying reality. Epstein was a predator who orchestrated a global network of sexual abuse, often targeting underage girls. He likes them young. One quote that continues to haunt the public memory comes from Donald Trump, who, back in the early 2000s, described Epstein as a lot of fun to be with, adding ominously, "He likes beautiful women as much as I do, many of them on the younger side." That casual remark, tossed into a New York Magazine profile, would later feel more like a warning than a compliment. Trump wasn't just a passing acquaintance. The 2 men were friends for decades, enjoying the high life between Manhattan and Palm Beach. They were spotted at exclusive events, Epstein's mansion, and Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. At one 1992 event, caught on NBC footage, the duo appeared to be scanning women at a party like items on a shopping list. That same year, Trump reportedly hosted a calendar girl competition at Mar-a-Lago. According to organizer George Horaney, 28 women were flown in, only to discover the only guests were Trump and Epstein. Epstein's troubling relationships. While Epstein never married, his romantic life was fraught with uncomfortable and often outright disturbing dynamics. In 2014, he allegedly said that if he were to wed anyone, it would be Selena Dubin, then just 19 years old. The unsettling twist? She was the daughter of his ex-girlfriend, Eva Anderson Dubin. There's no evidence they were in a relationship, but even the mere suggestion points to Epstein's predatory leanings. Eva dated Epstein for over a decade, starting in the 1980s. During the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, she testified that she allowed her children to refer to Epstein as Uncle F, and denied knowing about his crimes. Whether it was ignorance or something more, her defense only added another layer of discomfort to the narrative. Ghislaine Maxwell. Devotion turned dark. No name is more closely tied to Epstein than Ghislaine Maxwell's. The daughter of disgraced British media mogul Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine entered Epstein's life in the early 1990s and stayed for decades. Though their romantic relationship reportedly ended, her connection to Epstein remained deep and increasingly sinister. According to various sources, Ghislaine would still sleep in Epstein's bed even after their breakup. One of his ex-girlfriends described her behavior as akin to a daughter, trying desperately to win a father's approval, always hoping that Epstein might marry her if she just did one more thing for him. That one more thing turned into something far more nefarious. After Epstein's apparent suicide in 2019, Ghislaine was arrested in 2020 and later convicted on multiple counts related to trafficking and abusing minors. In 2022, she received a 20-year prison sentence. At her sentencing, she offered a rare acknowledgement of guilt, stating, "Jeffrey Epstein should have been here before all of you." But to his victims, that wasn't nearly enough. A pattern of grooming and control. Epstein had a well-documented pattern. He surrounded himself with very young women, many of them blonde and barely out of high school. Attorney David Boies, who represented several victims, said that while not every woman in Epstein's circle was underage, many were in their early 20s and ensnared in his manipulative web. Some were even paid to bring other girls into the system. One former girlfriend recalled that Epstein often preached polyamory to her, knowing she didn't have the confidence to question him. When she refused, he ghosted her. Another, a Sports Illustrated model, said Epstein always needed to have a model by his side, someone to flaunt as a status symbol. She described him as emotionally hollow and incapable of connection. Trump's breakup with Epstein. Despite years of public camaraderie, Trump began distancing himself from Epstein in the mid-2000s. Some reports say they fell out over a real estate dispute in Palm Beach. Whatever the cause, Trump's tone changed drastically by 2019. "I was not a fan," he told reporters. "I had a falling out with him a long time ago." But the evidence complicates that narrative. Flight records indicate Trump flew on Epstein's private jet 7 times. Photos place them together at numerous events. One survivor, Virginia Giuffre, said she was recruited while working at Mar-a-Lago. Another woman, former model Stacey Williams, claimed Epstein brought her to Trump's Fifth Avenue penthouse in 1993 and encouraged Trump to grope her. Trump has denied all wrongdoing. Epstein speaks from the grave. In tapes recorded in 2017 by journalist Michael Wolff, Epstein gave a chilling view into his friendship with Trump. He described himself as Trump's closest friend for 10 years and painted an unflattering portrait of the former president. Epstein claimed Trump was illiterate beyond gossip pages and that he had no real friends, save for his daughter Ivanka and a few staff. Most disturbingly, Epstein recalled Trump bragging about seducing the wives of close friends, saying, "The only thing I really like to do is wives of my best friends." That quote, whether exaggerated or not, adds a grotesque layer to an already troubling dynamic. The silence surrounding the client list. One of the most persistent public frustrations surrounding the Epstein case is the lack of transparency. Where is the infamous client list? Why haven't more powerful figures been named or held accountable? Skepticism about Epstein's death, ruled a suicide, continues to spread, with many believing the truth was buried alongside him. Even Trump's comments about potentially declassifying Epstein's files felt evasive. "I guess I would," he said, but added caution about exposing phony stuff that might hurt innocent people. It's that kind of hedging that only fuels further speculation. The legacy of suffering. One of the saddest developments in this saga came in April 2025 when Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's most vocal survivors, died by suicide. Her death was a tragic reminder of the trauma that lingers long after the headlines fade. She had become a symbol of resilience, someone willing to stand up to one of the most powerful rings of abuse the world has ever seen. Her passing, and the continued silence around many other victims, is a sobering call to keep seeking the full truth, not just about Epstein, but about all those who enabled, ignored, or participated in his crimes. Power, silence, and the unanswered questions. The story of Jeffrey Epstein is no longer just about one monstrous man. It's about the systems that allowed him to thrive. It's about the wealthy, the connected, and the complicit. It's about friends who looked the other way, and a justice system that often arrived too late. And at the center of it all, men like Donald Trump continue to insist they were uninvolved, all while the public continues to ask the same haunting question. If Epstein didn't act alone, then who else deserves to stand trial? Until we get clear answers, Epstein's ghost will continue to loom large over the corridors of power and the court of public opinion. Thanks for watching. If this deep dive into Jeffrey Epstein's twisted world and his powerful connections opened your eyes, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Have thoughts or questions? Drop them in the comments. We read them all and your voice matters. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and never stop asking questions.